subtracting.
How do you only see? If you go to the gallery option,
I'll do it. Yeah.
view, and then you can only see the speak. You can press on the speaker. Now, right now you're in a gallery.
And if speaker will it bring me up? No,
It will bring me, I think.
and not me. I don't, yeah, it's working. Yeah,
Oh,
good
all
to
right,
go.
good to go. So, how was this week? What do you want to talk about? You said,
Well, just for formalities, I just want to say that I'm sitting with Orith Zabari, my therapist of 9 months
about
ish.
that. Yeah.
And I also want to say thank you because it's been incredible. Yeah. And then you introduce yourself. And then
Yeah.
we'll just forget that we're recording.
So, Orith Zabari, I'm a licensed creative arts therapist. I deal with the body, somatic therapy, and I have a clinic in Monroe in Orange County, New York. And here we are. Mendy has been my client for 9 months now. So today, Mendy is interested in recording a session. So I don't know where this is going, but we'll go with the flow.
Yes, please. All right, I'll give you the story.
Yes.
Okay, so Saturday night, I had a little healing circle, you might say, with a couple of friends. And something very interesting came up that, and then one of them afterwards, he was like, can you make a podcast out of what we talked about? And I thought, hey, let me do it with you. Because I do want to hear your insight as well. So um, we got together, Matzah Shabbos, pretty late. We started a late start, and we meditated together, listened to some music, and then talked a lot. We also smoked a little bit of marijuana, a little bit. One of them wanted to do have like a mushroom circle, and I was at home, and I was like, if we're gonna do mushrooms, I want it to be not at home, where you can be like free to scream, and I don't have to like contain the situation. But I felt that just a little bit of weed would be way more mild and still have that healing power if you put an intention towards it,
Mhm.
which turns out to be true. If you just, a lot of it is about intention. Like, what do you want to do with this? And maybe people that smoke a lot of weed all the time, it's hard to separate from just fun to inner work, but I don't smoke very often, and neither do they. So it was very intentional. Um, what's so interesting, I'm just, this is my session, so I can talk about myself. My intention was solely like just to create more love. I've been on this like love journey, um, and like doing doing work with this book.
It's blurry, still blurry.
All right, doesn't matter. Mirror work.
Okay.
We spoke about it by Louise Hay. So powerful, and there's been like a major shift, um, shifts, and then listening to these like meditations and abundant stuff, all about finding like love and joy. Yesterday I'm listening to this woman on Insight Timer. She's so funny. It's so unprofessional. She's just like, I'm gonna change your consciousness to start seeing abundance. It's just a conscious thing. We're gonna shift consciousness, and like love, joy, and abundance are all married. So if you start to look for love and joy, you'll also have abundance in there. And just like starting to see things. And like Friday, I'd listened to like the second um part of it. They're like 15-minute long, very short. And it was about writing down things that you have in abundance. Like everyone has abundance, if you just look
Mhm.
for it. Like, does your tap water open and put out an abundance of water, or air that you can breathe all the time, and like just start to see it instead of focusing on what isn't. So like writing down a bunch of things that you have in abundance. Um, I don't remember exactly what else she was talking about, but then later just walking outside and it was pouring rain, and I'm like, wow, there's like an abundance of rain. And I walked out of my car to the store. I'm just like taking in all this rain, and it was just so nice. And just starting to really like see it everywhere. Where can I find more of this? Like, there's so much air, and like really focusing on like when I'm breathing in, like this is amazing, and just filling my heart with it, and it's just been so cool. So that was my intention, like just more love, like. And one of the other people was like, I just want to have so much pain, and I just want to find what this pain is, and thing about pain. Like, okay,
Mm.
we go in. I set it up that we'll do like we'll set first intentions for a few minutes. So everyone spoke for a bit. Then we smoke a little bit, and then like let's do this meditation, like the basic meditation of finding your breath, and wandering and coming back to your breath, noticing the warm air, cold air coming in and the warm air going out. And also listening to someone guiding us through this meditation for like 20 minutes.
Mhm.
And I noticed that in the past, like my mind would always go to like either like anxiety or pain. And here was just like every time I got distracted, it was to like love and like joy. And I'm just like so happy. Also a distraction from my breath, but at least to like places that are pleasant, and then like, okay, I have to come back to my breath and like keep coming back. And we finished. It was the first time ever, I think, like, or at least in a long time, like, go like having some medicine, uh,
Mm.
not your classic psychedelic, but still like has something, and not like having to deal with like a bunch of anxiety and pain before like letting go of it. It was just like it was just so much love in me, so much love. And what this woman like speaks about a lot is that no, not I don't even know who it is. I don't know where I'm getting this stuff from anymore. From her, from you, from Luis, from everywhere. Just that love can heal all your pain. Um, it's kind of like the light in the dark. And forever, I've been looking for like, where's more pain? Where's more pain? Where can I find more pain? And so this this other person, after like the 20 minutes, like he started talking, and he was like, it's like sitting with the pain, like I'm okay with. That's fine for me. It's the protectors that I'm afraid of that are going to take me away from my pain. But when I'm sitting with the pain, it's like cozy and whatever. And I'm like, okay, hold on a second. Do you hear what you're saying? If I
Mm.
hold on to my pain, it's cozy and like that's comfortable for me. I'm like, and it was so subconscious because after he was like, what am I saying? I'm like, you're saying the truth. You're literally want your pain. So you're sitting there, I have pain, and you just want it because it's cozy and it's warm. And like the protectors that want to take you away from your pain, you're like, no, 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 don't take me away from my pain. I need to stay with my pain.
But what comes if we are, you know, allow the protectors, let's say, to take away the pain, then what are we dealing with?
I don't know. Maybe in this case, I'm saying normally we're like, oh, protectors, did they here to protect you? We don't even want that. Let's deal with what is. But like you're talking about pain like it's the most cozy thing, and then complaining that like I need to figure out this pain so I can like let it go. And you're like, you don't even want to let it go. You just want to hold on to it because it's so cozy and predictable.
There's a lot of comfort in the knowing,
Right.
right? So
Right.
if I know that this feels like there's some sense of safety in the knowing. So this is my pain and it's predictable and I know how to sit with it. But then if I allow change, I don't know what will be on the other side of that. And
Right.
that's fear talking. So fear then takes over, and then people are afraid, to self-reflect, right? And to kind of allow growth and healing to happen because I don't know really what will be on the end of it. So I'm just going to hold on to my pain here because it feels comfortable, it feels cozy, it feels familiar. There's a lot of comfort in familiarity. And when we tap into wanting to change, healing, it takes effort. It can be very messy and scary, right? Because when we deal with the pain and when we want to really understand it to move, from that, we have to get into all the messiness internally. Because what is pain? Pain tends to come from previous experiences. And that can, if we hold on to that, it can become chronic. And that can really affect our physical body. We're feeling, achiness in the body. And so, but we become familiar with it. It's holding us in that space. That pain is all of our past experiences. And that's what we know. And so we're holding on to it. For me to say, I want to move away from my pain, I don't want to feel that anymore. That takes, a moment of saying, okay, I don't want to be here. This is not good for me. And I want to grow from that. So here I'm going to take the next step. And when we talk about love, which is on the other end of it, right? To get to the ultimate idea of what does love really means, to self-love. It's unconditional. It has no attachment to anything, right? So it's the idea to really learn to love who we are without judgment, without criticism, understanding what happened in the past, accept it, then take the initiative to change that, right? So we don't keep self-bashing, or we're not staying in the trauma, in the grief, in the regret, and that's when it becomes chronic. People, it takes a lot of courage to say, okay, I'm going to confront my pain. That's what it means. To heal the pain, you have to confront the pain. You have to move through it to get to the other side of that. And that takes a lot of effort.
Yeah.
It takes work.
Yeah. But I thought that it's so powerful that it's actually like, it's really a choice. It's like one day deciding I choose love, like enough with my pain. But then it's very like the pain is default setting. Like you kind of just go there without any work. You'll end up in like that comfort zone, as uncomfortable as it is in the pain place. If it's like something so familiar and so regular, you kind of go there by default. And to go into like, at least at the beginning, I'm sure like being in the love space and can become very, I don't hear you.
Yeah, it's what you
Oh,
know. You hear me?
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so, there are patterns. We form patterns of behaviors throughout, through our experiences through life. And where it's very easy to move with the pattern. When I try to change, when I try to let go of narratives that are holding me back, that takes a lot of work. And sometimes, you have to have enough repetitions in the new behavior, in the new language, to start really embodying it, so we don't fall back. But until that happens, until it becomes a language, you have to practice it until you become fluent at it. There's going to be moments when you're going to tap back into it, because there's a sense of comfort. And there's also a sense of grief that's attached to letting go of what I know, right? Because I've known my pain for such a long time and it feels cozy, right? It's painful, but it's what I know. And when I have to let it go, when I decide to let it go and embody something new, every ending has grieving attached to it. So that's also painful, right? In the process, even though it feels good, we're transforming to something new. There's still that period where it, kind of becomes a little gray there. It's not a smooth transition. There's a lot that's happening before you get to the other side, which is love. And that's the healing. The healing from pain is to really learn how to develop a love relationship with yourself.
Yeah.
Right? So
Right.
when thinking of the abundance, when the word abundance of everything externally to you, there's abundance of everything inside of you to create a different reality for yourself. right? And that's where it starts. It's inside of you. And these are the cues that you take from learning from the external world. Yes, there's abundance. This is like mindful awareness of what's going on in the external world. But what is happening inside of myself? I have everything inside myself to create a different reality for me. Do I really want that?
Right.
And that's when we, it's in that choice, right? When you say it's a choice, everything is a choice.
Yeah. Yeah. I think also like the fear is if I'll lose my pain, then, well, that's no, that's not what I wanted to say. I wanted to say actually like the pain kind of melts away as like the love comes in. The grieving process. I'm saying if you're in the dark and you turn on the light, like what happened to the darkness? It has to go like it goes somewhere, like in that grief, your pain starts to melt away in the face of light.
The pain.
Huh?
Bringing light into the pained experience, right?
Yeah.
It's not that we forget our experiences in life that led us to feel that pain, but we'll learn to look at it from a different angle. And
Right. Okay. That's what I wanted to say. Your pain will always be there. You don't have to worry. If you have to find it, they'll still be there. Like the incident still happened.
things happened in life, and if
Right.
we give
You're not.
ourselves that room to navigate through the victim, through the wounded part inside of us, we'll always see the world from that angle, from that wounded self. And that's the pain that we're holding on to. We need to create less room for the wounded part, not by ignoring it, by understanding, why am I holding on to this pain? What happened in my life? Learn to accept it, heal through it, and to learn that today you can hold space for yourself where you couldn't have done when things happened to you maybe earlier. And you have to learn to forgive the self for not being on top of the game, or you didn't act in the way that you wanted to, or you made the wrong choice. And instead of staying also that narrative in the narratives of self-bashing that creates that emotional pain, it's to allow these patterns to, kind of like letting them go, detach from them. Through the healing process, you learn to accept where you were with love, right? With acceptance, with kindness, with compassion. And then you learn today with the tools that you have through the healing process to bring more love to yourself in that. So we never forget what happened, but we don't have to stay stuck in that pain. You can say that was a really painful experience.
Right.
And today, I'm not operating through that wounded part inside of me because I'm healed. Right. And healing comes from bringing that abundance of love internally, because we are all capable of doing that with the right guidance.
Support.
Yeah, with the right support system is everything.
And repetition.
Repetition, exactly.
Repetition, repetition, repetition. What also came up there was that really like all addiction is really an addiction to our pain. So how do I get back to my pain? So say for me, I'm having a good day, everything's fine. Why do I have to go on the computer and find some porn or whatever that's gonna like bring up all my shit? Now the guilt's here and the shame, and I have to go on this have to figure it out all over again. Like why? Like what? And it's like, oh, I'm just really addicted to pain. Like when it feels too good, it's like, something is wrong here. Let's bring on some pain. And it doesn't matter what the addiction is. At the end of the day, you can sit in any room, in any meeting. Everyone's going to say the same thing. Like if they relapsed on, then I felt like crap. So you're going to feel like crap. Nobody says, I thought I was going to do this and then feel great after. It was like I knew it wasn't going to be good, but I chose to do it. Ultimately, you had some. I want to read this thing actually. My friend sent it to me. He's from I don't know, like sex addicts kind of daily meditations. So we were talking about this. idea of like you're choosing you have choice. We have choice and we choose, like we make bad choices and we feel bad about them, but like that power that like, oh, I made that choice and then I could choose something different. Anyway, so he says there sometimes we think we are driven on like sheep by the tyranny of our addiction. We may say that we were born sex addicts, that we turned into sex addicts in our childhood, or that there's nothing we can do except to go on playing out our fate. And yet each time we are on the way to act out, there seems to be 1 second of clarity when we see what we are doing and where we are going. We feel a flash of freedom. And then if we forget it, the darkness of our addiction descends again, and we go onward to our fate like sleepwalkers. Let's zero in on the flash of freedom each time we take advantage of it, uh, to change course and stop acting out. The light becomes brighter and the decision easier next time. We can take these small but sure steps away from our addiction and follow a new path illuminated by our freedom of choice. It's like right before you act out, you do have that choice and that clarity of like, I'm gonna feel bad, but like I'm still gonna do it. So like you're gonna feel bad. I don't care what the addiction is. What are you really addicted to? Is those terrible feelings. I just want to feel bad. That is like, it's cozy. I know it can't get worse from there, but like the fear of if I'm in a love space and if life is good, maybe I'll lose it. And that can be so suffering that maybe something bad will happen. Let me just make the bad happen. Now I know I'm good. I'm in this place that I'm very familiar with.
There is a deep-rooted feeling of shame. And that deep-rooted feeling of shame, it tells you, I don't deserve better. I don't deserve good. So when you go, there is a period of time where you're doing good, that narrative plays in the back of your mind. That shame plays in the back of your mind. You don't deserve it. You don't deserve the good. You don't deserve the good. And so then you operate through the shame part takes over. You operate, and even though in that moment you have that choice, that narrative becomes louder in the system. Go for it. Go for it. And then you stay because, right, we say in order to change things about ourselves, we have to change patterns of behavior. But where do these behaviors come from? From deep, deep narratives that started playing out from when we were young. And then they intensify as we get older if they were never really got the resolution that they needed. They never resolved in the system. So they take a profound space in the system. And then you're stuck in that loop. I'm doing well. I'm doing really good. I'm doing good for 3 months. People do great for 3 months. And then, oops, I don't know what happened. I just relapsed. In any type of addiction, usually, I would say 99% of the time, it's shame is the biggest cause for self-destructive behaviors. Let's destruct. Let's destruct. We don't deserve that. Right? So we feel in that moment we gain control. We gain control over our lives. We have choice, but we choose the pain. We choose that pattern because, again, we're not consciously aware that, shame is controlling us, right? It's not in a conscious awareness, but it's repressing the system and we're operating through, parts. That's why IFS is so great because we learn, through internal family system, what parts take more room in the system and how, and also that we're not just one thing. We're not defined by our addiction. We're not just addicts, right? It's not, hi, I'm Mendy and I'm an addict and that's all I am. There's a part inside of me that wants to numb something internally, but that comes from shame.
It's
And
so interesting you're saying that because like I feel like I'm in such a different place, like so literally every day choosing that enough pain. Like we also like on that night we were talking and like I was saying, like, you don't have to suffer anymore. No matter how many crimes you've done, I don't care for how many generations you've suffered for what, 35 years? That's enough. You're definitely like you've purified your soul already. It's clean, even for your future sins. You know, you've already done tshuva. Like the suffering cleared you out. Like it's just now about a choice of, do I want to fill my space with love and joy and abundance, or do I still want to like punish myself for like almost no reason? Like we're clean. We're for sure clean. We've suffered as a generation, as a community. We've suffered enough. Everybody's clean. We're good. We are so good. 2,000 years. I don't know, however many years of suffering we have already under our belt. We don't have to like. I understand if you've done some harm, you need a purification process that hurts. So we have some pain, we have some suffering to get clean. But like, it's enough. Like the washing machine's been on for 30 for thousands of years. The clothes are clean. It's time to like enjoy life again. And that's really like a choice. And still, like while I'm choosing this, almost like very consciously choosing it and try to feel like just breathing it in. Like there's just like, wow, there's love in the, if you're love conscious, like you're breathing in love, you know, like it's just everywhere. There's so much like beauty everywhere. And yet there's still like, I can notice those voices of like, hold on a second, like, is this okay? Like, what are we not, what are we forgetting? You know, as if like, uh-oh, let that pain come back some. Let's make a bad choice and get some pain because I don't know, I guess just so used to like living with it that it's like, you know, and yet, and then like coming away from that, but like I see you, but now someone like Jesse Jacobson says when his father died, I guess for a long time it felt like a big hole in the, like right in the living room, you know, the big hole in the ground, and every time you walk in, you fall in, and then after some time, you learn that like the hole is there, you're not gonna fix it, but you're allowed to walk around it. And I felt like I didn't like lose anyone like that, but even every trauma is like that. The hole is there. It doesn't like get filled with anything. Like it's a hole. If you want to go in there and find pain, it's always available, but you don't have to. It's sometimes you can just look at it and say the hole is there, send it some love. Maybe you can fill it with love. I don't know, but you don't have to walk in. Um, and you don't have to walk into it. So, but yeah, it's so interesting. Like the shame or whatever is still there, still trying, you know, with every like energy that it has left to self-sabotage and bring us back to that familiar place, which I don't, I've decided done, like not going there anymore. I don't have to, I have choice. I can really use my freedom of choice to choose love and whatever like is, and that's active work though because it's not the default. That like takes like, okay, that's work every day to throw fuel into that flame, like to keep it like
Right. And learn to
light it.
live without pain.
I think love has room for the pain. That's also like if pain comes, I'm not like avoiding my life trying to control it. Whatever comes up will come up, but I can just bring love to that space. And I think there's a dangerous area where you say I choose love, no more pain, and then like trying to control your life that it's just no more pain. But like I don't have that choice. Pain will come. My kid will one day be sad. I'm not gonna be like, I don't want to talk about it. Like, no, love has room for all of it. Like, oh, there's sadness here. Let's cover it. Let's bring love here. Like,
Right. And that's in the present moment as it happens.
yeah,
To learn
yeah.
to move with the flow of life.
Yeah, not controlling it, but
The
choosing.
idea is that we don't need, it's not useful to tap into what happened in the past, all that pain that we're feeling. This is what I mean when I say we have to learn to let go of that, understand what happened, to know that it was very painful experiences, that you've endured in your life, to learn to give a lot of love to it also, and not stay stuck in that pain, because then you're operating through life through the wounded part inside of you, and you're not allowing yourself to grow from that. So to learn how to love without pain, and the pain that I mean is the pain that I'm attaching from the past. If I learn to live without that, and then I'm allowing myself to create a very powerful relationship that's filled with integrity towards the self and towards others. right? Because I'm really giving myself the opportunity to be present in the moment as it happens. And I'm bringing a lot of love. And when there is a painful experience, to give that attention. The idea is to never ignore the self in whatever you're going through. It's to accept all parts of yourself. Again, when we're talking about not bringing judgment to why am I feeling pain right now? Shouldn't be in this place. If I feel something, I have to attend to it. Whatever the feeling is, I have to give attention to the feeling. So I don't become overwhelmed and not regulated in my system. The idea that if I want to move through life feeling regulated, grounded, empowered, I have to attend to all parts of me. There's not a place to ignore the self. And when I learn to do that, then I learn to do that with the people around me. Right? I don't need to say, for example, I love you to someone and to hear that back. That's love without attachment.
Mm-hmm.
If I learn to really love, I learn to love without having to control something. I learn to be open to the experience without having to control a relationship or fear. When we talk about any type of relationship, fear of not surviving the world without not having somebody in it. Right? It's to really understand that I'm good here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good here. And I have everything inside of me to create that abundance. I have that abundance inside of me. I just need to tap into it.
Yeah. That came up also, that like, why are we so afraid of love? It's because we've lost in the past. We've lost someone we love, or our heart has been hurt too many times as a child. And it's like, you know what? It's just not worth it. So we lock it up. Then we grow up, and really now we're able to tolerate a little bit of hurt. You know, we're strong and big, and we're still like, the fear of the loss will keep us away from loving, to the point where we don't even know how to love anymore. So it's like, okay, add some love into your life. And it's like, how? That was like the question. How do I add love? And how long is it going to take? You know, that was like this also another like fear. It's going to take me forever. It's not worth it, you know? But I wanted to touch on those 2 points, A or B, because we'll go there second, but like how to bring love back into your life if you like, you know, and then also that fear, it says, we say that the fear of sin is greater than the sin itself. Not the fear, the thought about doing a sin is greater than sin itself. Ihure avera kashem avera. Like having thoughts about doing a sin is greater. And it clicked to me that night, Matzah Shabbos, that this fear of having love, no, this fear of loss is greater than the loss itself. I'll explain. Like one of the guys was saying that like he lost someone when he was young, or even just like your broken heart that gets broken, the traumas from, you know, your dad yelled at you and your principal kicked you out of school or whatever, and and those become like, oh no, I'm not gonna let anyone into my heart again. And that fear of that, because maybe I'll be hurt again, is so much greater, because you don't let love in again, so now you're really like just suffering forever because maybe you'll suffer. But also, like when you actually lose someone, and if you could speak to this as an experienced person of loss, if you don't mind, the fear of losing this is what this person said. It kind of, I don't want to be insensitive, but like losing someone, the fear of losing someone is almost greater than the actual loss, because you're saying when you lose someone, your body knows how to create new like chemicals that enable you to deal with the situation. But when you're just afraid of it, like you're just living in a miserable place that you'll never get over it, because the fears will just be real forever. But when you actually lose someone, then like, okay, you learn how to deal with it. You create new like chemicals in your body that know how to like readjust. So the fear is almost more damaging than the actual loss. And
Well, fear
yeah.
in general, the fear of something, is usually more profound than the actual event. Because if I navigate life through fear, I stay stuck. I don't give room for new experiences because I'm just really afraid of what will come out of it. So the part of me, fear, takes a lot of room inside of me and doesn't allow me to take risks, to move forward, to try, to live. Then I don't live. If I don't experience pain, I don't experience pleasure. We have room for all of that internally. It's how we allow it in. It's how we process those things. I think that the fear of losing someone, I don't know if it's greater than actually losing someone. I think that we can say that. I mean, they're two different processes, because one, you're stuck, you're navigating the situation through the fear and you haven't lost. So you're stuck and you're frozen in that fear. So you're not going to open yourself up to a new experience, a new love, a new event, right? So it keeps you frozen and stuck in life. Having lived life and being open on the other end of it and losing someone, it's a different process. Then you're dealing with grief, and that's pain, right? So it's pain, it's moving through life, or in that grieving process. There's so much grieving that you're doing, right? You're grieving for the dreams that you've had. You're grieving for, nothing, everything that I've imagined in this relationship, it's not, is not going to happen. You're grieving the person. Wow, I'm never going to hear that person again. I'm never going to speak to this person again. You're grieving for your children, so there's a lot of grieving that goes into, there's a lot of pain that goes into actually losing someone. That being said, through the grief, through the deepest layers of grief, the pain, which, and it's extremely painful if you're really allowing yourself to be with the grief, right? Because some people also shy away from that and will distract themselves, right? But if you really allow yourself to move through it, you're really then allowing yourself to grow from that, right? And it's to take something that you've never even knew existed inside of you. You allow it's like a rebirth almost when you go through the process of grief of losing someone. Because also, in a sense of unity, when we're talking about partners, and that's, was my experience, right? In the place of unity, you learn to become somewhat, even though you're two individuals, your dreams, your goals, and everything becomes a together thing. And then when there is a break from that, it's like, okay, this is not happening anymore. You have to find yourself. And it's a painful process, right? And it's just me now. So hold on, I have to really self-reflect here. What do I want to do? It's really learning to become familiar with the you without attachment, right? Because when we're in any type of unity, we get attached to people. And our life then is kind of navigated through this attachment. So it's to learn to truly self-love the me, and to create a different relationship with the self, so I can be the best version of myself that I can be, for myself and for other people. And it's work. And it's, when we think of when you tapped into time, how long does it take to get to always people seek that the urgency, get to the end result already. And as long as people are stuck in the end result, they never take the moment for what it is. So we don't live in the moment, and we're constantly saying we have to be at the end result. That means you're not living life as it happens. You're too busy making other plans as life actually happens. And so if I allow myself to just be present with silence, to be present with myself, I learn a lot in that process. You take the time. You don't need to hurry love. You know, you don't need to hurry to get over pain. There's no magic pill and there's no wand to get you to the other side of that. But you really have to allow yourself to emerge with the pain and then be open to the love and open to receive and to tell yourself that you deserve it, that you're worthy of all of that. So you're opening yourself to that. And that starts with you, with the I. I'm acknowledging myself in that pain, in that loss, in the trauma, in the regret, in the grief, whatever it may be in the past. Right? I am joining in, I'm allowing myself to be with all of that and heal and accept it and bring love to all of me and then grow from there. Right? So self-love is work. It's like,
Right. It's active.
it's
It's
every
an
day.
it's
Yeah.
really an action where I love how like in the mirror workbook, she's the first thing you look into the mirror, like the first day one, look into your eyes, and like if you can't say like I love you, you say like I really want to love you or something. And I think it takes a little bit of like being gullible, you know, because the cynic will be like, this is so dumb. And you know, you're just like a little bit of like gullibilism. It's my new favorite word. You know, it's always been like a negative. Oh, you're so gullible. Like, thank you, Hashem, for being gullible that you're actually gonna really try something so stupid, like look in the mirror into your eyes and be like, I really want to love you. I love you. You know, like
Yeah, there's something so profound in that.
I don't know, but like you're poking a hole. Like we were speaking about the Shawshank Redemption. You know, he's in prison there and he's like, I want to get out. What am I gonna do? I'll chisel a tiny little hole in this wall every day for 17 years. That's all I have. I'm not no rush, nowhere to go, but all I can do. What can I do? A little chisel. You know, you do like a little hole, and who knows? Like one day, all of a sudden, you're on the other side of that wall. Um, So it's really like taking an action that's self-loving. You know, like how do I love? Like find something you like to do. I don't know what I like to do. Like, yeah, you do. Except you restrict yourself all the time because there's someone inside you saying, nope, no pleasure, no pleasure. Pleasure is bad. Don't allow it. And it's like, you know, you pass the sushi stand and it's like, I don't have extra money. And I'm not talking about like eating for like it could, you know, you could be eating for numbing purposes, but you can also sometimes just treat your inner child to like an ice cream with like I'm allowing myself to like and just enjoy it and feel the like, you know, deal with the judgment of yourself maybe later, make space for that too. But to really take an action of self-love is so hard for people. It's so hard without, you know, and then it's like, how's that going to help anyhow? And like, okay, now you're already like worrying about like, forget that. Pop a hole, you know, like it says, you know, open a hole like a needle and I'll open the rest.
There's a lot of expectations of, you know, internal narratives that really steal our moment. So if I want something and then I questioning it from so many angles instead of just allowing myself to be with, you know. Yeah, it's to really learn to be in the moment with who you are, accepting yourself in every moment for everything that you are. And there's nothing more amazing to be able to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I love you. It's very difficult for a lot of people to do that.
Yeah.
You know, because they're holding to so much shame. And when I'm holding on to that and it's chronic in my system, it's very hard for me to look at myself and say, I love you. And so I walk through this feeling, you know, of I don't really love me. I don't think I'm worthy. I don't, you know, there's self-esteem that goes into shame also. You can be a most successful human in the world, but when there's shame that's playing in the back burner there, it will pop up to tell you you're not so great. You could do better. Be critical of yourself. You're not that wonderful. And so you keep on fighting that, keep on fighting. You want to get to the top. But you know, but it doesn't matter. You'll never be content and you'll never see yourself with different eyes unless you really learn to love you and let go of that shame.
Yeah.
I think love is healing self-love is healing. It heals, deep, deep wounds.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we
I think
have a
it,
difference in that.
yeah. I don't know. Obviously I didn't wake up on my healing journey one day and say, you know what? Um, let's go into love. It was dealing with a lot of pain for many years and staying there. But this shift to like, okay, love can actually heal is just like I'm finally understanding what it means. A little bit of light pushes away a lot of darkness. Like there's only so much you can grapple with the dark and like process and process and process and like you're almost. I mean, it's important. Obviously, it's part of the journey to understand that they get to. But then like it's how do you heal it? You have to turn on the light. There's like nothing else to really do. You can't push it out. It's like bring in love, acceptance, love. Just why? Because I do. And it just starts to build fast. It builds fast.
Right, because everybody deserves to love themselves, right? It's the why. We deserve it. The world would be a much better place if everybody really loved themselves, right? We'll be kinder, we'll be filled with compassion. Um, yeah, it's to really
Yeah,
learn that we deserve it. We deserve that love.
yeah,
And for you, when the idea of not recognizing yourself even, right? Different aspects of you would not see yourself. You would not show up for yourself.
right, right.
That was, one of the things that we worked on is to start showing up for you. And what
Yeah,
does that mean to show up for yourself? Is to give yourself the opportunity to be, right? To be heard by you, to receive yourself. That's love. Right? So when I
yeah,
learned to do that, I put less pressure on the other person in front of me. Here, take all of me, take it, but I don't even know how to receive me, but I want you to receive me in the best way you can.
mm-hmm.
Just receive me. Right? And we get very frustrated when we're not received and we're not seen. The question is, do you see yourself? Are you receiving yourself? And if you don't, it's very difficult for the other person to really understand who you are and what it is that you need. And then you're dumping everything onto them with frustration.
Yeah,
Possible,
yeah,
somebody to be able to carry your weight. We
yeah,
have to learn to carry our weight, whether it be our pain, our love, our disappointments, everything. And then learn to love ourselves with that so we can come whole.
yeah,
Again, if I'm not attached to my pain, then I can create an empowering relationship, a very empowered relationship with myself. And if I'm able to do that, it's going to affect my relationship with other people.
yeah. And for sure, as a man of the house,
Mhm.
coming into the relationship in that space of, and I need everyone to see me and tell me, and then you're also like, everyone needs some, I'm loving everyone, I'm making space for everyone, and there's no time for me, and like, you're not even making space for them. You're just spilling in so much negative energy into everyone around you. Wild.
Right. We need to pause. We need to
We
slow
gotta
down,
fill ourselves up.
see ourselves. We need to see the environment. We need to see what we need and how our words and actions, do they align internally? Our thoughts, our feelings, make sure that they're aligned so we can be regulated for ourselves, so we can be regulated for other people. You know, it's
Yeah,
to really allow ourselves to see ourselves in that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think we're finished.
I think so. Time ran out.
So it was
Yeah.
wonderful.
I did have, oh,
Love over pain. I would love to love versus holding my pain.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I was thinking, why are we so addicted to the pain in the first place? This is a whole nother maybe next time. This time I need to wrap my mind around it. But our first, this goes back to what I was probably told you about after some other journey, but our first experience in this like consciousness, right when we are like conceived, is the feeling that's like our first time being separated from our source, our parents. We become our own thing, and that first feeling is probably very, very painful. Or it is like all of a sudden you're just, wait, who am I? Where am I? It's completely lost, completely separated from source, and it's painful.
It's not entirely, but there's something to it. I mean, there's a very
How
symbiotic.
do you know?
I want to think.
Yeah. But I
But
think once let me finish the thought. I think that that is a painful experience at first. And so we're constantly trying to go back to pre that. And so our first where we got the first consciousness was in pain. So like let's go back to the pain so we could move beyond the pain and back into our source and we'll feel better. But now that we have been disconnected from source, our idea is to connect in the future, to create a next unity, not to go back to the one that was previous. So we got to move through the pain, create more love, which creates this that original. When we were in our source, it was all love anyhow. It was
but then
all one. I don't
into
know.
it's really attachment then, right?
It's
Because
what?
tapping into attachment because we're thinking of the source, the caretaker, the womb, the comfort, and then when we become individuals, is that what you mean?
No, because when you're in your source, you're not being held by your source. You are the source. You're one with it. It's not that you're attached to something else. There is only one. Then it became a separate being who was like, I'm so lost. And the idea is that when we find ourselves and find our love, we become again that oneness within ourselves.
I see what you mean.
So we're the beginning was oneness, then there's separation, and the end result is oneness. But you can't go back to the original oneness. That's not going to happen. You're not going to reunite with your father again and become one. But you yourself are a whole being. You're anyhow you are wholesome. You don't have to go back there. You have to find that oneness again within you, where you're fully self-resourced. Like you said, all that abundance is within you already. So we're
Mhm.
trying to like go back. Let's go back to where do I know? I know pain. That was my first conscious feeling. Let me go back there. And then if I get through that in reverse, I'll go back to my source and I'll be whole again. And it's no, you got to go forward through the pain, forward into love again. And then the cycle continues forever and ever and ever and ever. We're constantly like, it's a unification, and each like unification creates another being, which now is separated and has to again reunite.
I think I'm getting it. I think I'm getting it. In a way, I think you're talking about but attaching to something to feel protected, to
That,
feel comforted, to feel
that would be
loved.
the dark side of it.
And then there's a separation of you being an individual, and then that's difficult. That's where you find the pain. And then if you were to go back to the source, so when you're talking about the source, what do you mean?
So physically, I mean, my
So
father.
he's carried inside the mother's womb. Is that what you're
Yeah.
talking about from that time?
No, before that even. That's already a separated being. When you're in your mother's womb, you're already your own person. Like when you're in your father's like thought, you're one.
Got it.
The second there's that conception that you come out of your father, you're now separate consciousness. It's been separated from its source. On a very physical level, if you want to talk spiritually, would say God and us and creation and the whole thing. But we were like, it was oneness. It wasn't okay. In my father, there's me. I mean, you could break it down and say the thought is also separated from the father. But let's say in a very physical way, you're like, there's really just one being here, and then it's literally copy pasted. But I feel completely separate. I have this illusion of with my own ego, my own body, everything feels separated. And the first conscious feeling I ever had was of being separated. Oh no, here I am, pop into this world, this own being, very painful, very scared, very afraid, don't know where to go or what to do. Somehow survived the whole journey. And here I am. And then it's how do I go back to this oneness that was You know, I didn't have to, I didn't have a thought even. It was just one with whatever I was.
Interesting, interesting. I've never
I want,
kind of looked from that perspective of the
so not,
one
yeah,
from the sperm you're talking about.
yes. So not attachment to like something else, actually inclusion in something else completely. Not attached to something that comforts me, but not being me even, just being where I came from, my source. But we are the source. We're just copy pasted. So if we understand that, we realize that we're actually not even separated. We're the continuation of it, and we have to really, really love this being and really feel whole from within. We really are the whole package. There is no going back.
Interesting. It's like when you think of like, okay, the creation of, why were we created in that way and what plan did God have for that in terms of the separation and then the attachment
Yeah, the
and then,
separation, right?
right? Because when we're talking about the sperm, the oneness within the individual, that's not going somewhere, out into space. It goes into a place that's comforting. When we talk about, how a child develops internally in the mother's womb, it's warm, it's protected, it's held. So even when you're separated from the oneness, you're not right. We don't know.
Entirely lost.
Imagine we're going into somewhere that's protected,
Yeah,
and
it's
then
it is protected, but it's a pretty, you know, from what I remember from that time.
tell us, Mendy, what do you remember from
It
that time?
was very loud, very loud.
It's
A
like a
lot was going
lifestyle.
on. They're molding you into something from nothing, you know. So it's not all like fun and games. You know, you're being schlepped here and schlepped there, and growing. Growing hurts even when you're out of the body, out of your mother. You know, the growing pains. You remember those in your legs, like stuff are happening that are pretty uncomfortable. And it's very, very loud. It's not quiet anymore. Like I have a sense of hearing, and I'm hearing and I'm seeing. It's overstimulating. I mean, like hello. Um, it's very big.
Well, that's why they also did a lot of research with babies and interacting with a
Talking
mother.
nicely to them, right?
When they get overly stimulated, what do they do with their eyes and with their body? So body is the first language to everything,
Yeah.
right? Or we're able to form language. We communicated with the body, but
Yeah.
listen, it's
I want to write a book about this. The idea of creation being separation.
mhm.
Like, but why did God create the world? You know, in Chassidus, we talk about it. Like, He wanted to have a relationship with something. If you're just one, there's no relationship. You create a separation. You know, it's kind of this illusion. But now you can you can, you can mold into one and have a real relationship that is even greater than just oneness. You know, and then He creates man, and He's like, I'm lonely. He rips something out of his, rib cage. Here's a woman. You know, it's from the same. They're kind of, she's cut from him. It's not really even a separate entity, but it seems to be. And because there's that separation, which comes with pain, now I can find real love again, like, eh, and make another unification. And then they get together. And what happens when they come together as one? More children come out, which are separate, and they have to unite. And it goes on and on and on and on. We create separation so that we can create relationships, which are way more powerful than just the one being alone on this earth,
Mhm.
even within ourselves with the relationship with the self. It's a super powerful
That's
relationship,
the biggest
biggest
relationship.
relationship, but it's not.
That dictates the relationship that you will have with other people, right? And
Yeah, yeah,
that you hold with yourself.
yeah,
But in truth, pain is part of life, and it's something
yeah,
that we were giving to experience, like all of the other range of emotions and experiences. And some people will experience more pain than others, but it's everybody experiences it,
yeah,
at some
yeah.
point. We're not, it's not something that we're protected from,
Right.
but it's how we learn to manage to live with the pain that will also, again, the relationship that you have with yourself that will determine
How
how
much you choose of it also. Like when not necessary, do you choose pain? Pain will come, but do you volunteer for it? Like,
right. And you lose people. I mean, um you said goodbye to friends. I mean, there's a pain comes with different ending to different situations. And
yeah,
you see your friend hurt, that can cause you, you can feel their pain, but It's the idea that it's how I'm allowing myself to sit with the pain and to grow from that. It's not that we choose our pain, but it's a choice how to proceed with it, right? So
Yeah.
no, I know that these things happen to me. Now I have a choice whether I'm going to stay in that fearful place where I don't do anything, where I don't open myself to anything, because this feels I'm in the knowing here and it's comfortable for me. There is a big sense of comfort to stay with what you know, and it takes a lot of effort to change that. Like you said before,
Yeah.
it's everyday work, it's every moment,
Yeah.
until it becomes a spoken language. And even then, you have to remind yourself, oh,
Oh,
I'm
you can never relax, I don't think.
well, you should be relaxed in the body and regulated,
You know,
but you
yeah, I mean, but never like think I've made it to the other side now, and I'm like, it's and I don't have to like I'll automatically just be loving all day. Like,
no, we're human,
no, we're humans. Yeah.
but
It's
we
like
have to remind
conscious. Yeah,
human, right,
it's
to stay
conscious.
feels better for us, with what is healthier for us. Because when you think of pain, if pain becomes chronic in your system, the emotional pain, it will turn into a
Yeah.
physical pain. There's causes of inflammation in the body. There's all sorts of reactions, in a physical body, when we're holding on to pain. So it's to learn to allow ourselves to have a better life, because life is fleeting and there's only one way for everybody. Right? And so
Yeah.
we have to choose the real choice of how I want to be here in every moment of the day with the gift that I was given, which is life.
Yeah.
It really is that. I
Right.
have a choice in what I do always. I have and if something happened, it wasn't my choice. I have a choice how to manage that, how to move from that. We always have a choice how to be in any given situation, right? It's to
Yeah.
find truth in what feels good inside ourselves and to operate from there,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Till the next time.
All right.
All right,
See you
honey.
next week.
Next week. Bye.